Hello everybody, this is Chromusgirl018, and this is going to be my thoughts on Vampire Night episode, dang it, which episode? I forgot! Let me check. Anyway, Vampire Night episode 11, sorry. I completely forgot how many had already gotten uploaded, and the lighting, it's really bright today, and it's shining on my desk. Not like where there's a glare, but it's shining where there's... Let me show you. See? It's shining on my desk, but it's not producing a glare, thankfully. Oh, just for... Look who's awake! Little Wyatt's awake! Yeah, he can stand up in his crib now, but he can't technically walk yet. He's been standing up in his bed, but I think that's about it when it comes to standing up, besides a few instances out of his bed. But he'll probably soon be trying to stand up and walk. So, yeah, I got that to deal with. Anyway, in this episode of Vampire Night, we learned about how Zero's brother was the more sickly and frailer of the two. Which, I think that's... trope has been used a few times in anime. I don't remember which exactly anime has had that, where a sibling has been more frailer than the other. Doesn't have to necessarily be a twin, I think. I assume has happened before, but anyway, he was more frailer and sickly. He wasn't able to be considered a vampire hunter because of this, and thus he apparently began to resent and hate Zero, which I thought was awful because Zero loves his brother. From the flashbacks we saw, he loves his brother. He will do anything for him, essentially. At least when he was a little kid. I don't know about now. Anyway, we get all that backstory, and we see how they met, first encountered Shizuka, whatever her name is. The vampire. And I'm guessing that Ichiro fell in love with her and wanted to, well, take out his parents and Zero because he grew to hate them for apparently always picking Zero and resenting him or something like that. I don't know. Which was not the case from what I can tell, because they loved him from the few instances that we saw. Sure, he probably wouldn't have been able to be a vampire hunter because of his condition, but that's no reason to hate your parents and your brother. Unless he wanted to be a vampire hunter, in which case he could probably still have worked at it. He probably wouldn't have been as good as he could have been, but he still would have been able to do it. So... yeah, even at a young age, we saw that Zero was able to sense vampires quite easily. Even before his parents did, he sensed Shizuka coming towards the house. But yeah, we also end up seeing Yaguri again. He shows up in the room and ends up defending Ichiro from a falling sword when it got knocked in the air, which shows that even though Ichiro thinks that Yaguri didn't want him as a student, he still thought of him as his student and still cared about him, and yet it didn't seem to affect Ichiro at all. Anyway, not only that, but the ball was supposed to take place in this episode, and it did. And yeah, I think it was in the last episode that Kaname asked you to get to the ball. If my voice sounds off, my throat's a little scratchy, so yeah, just so you know. Anyway, he sent Yuki a really nice looking dress, which I thought it looked really nice on her. And we find out what the deal was that she was supposed to make with Maria, either bring her Kaname's dead body or offer her blood to Maria. Which, if Yuki actually ends up going through with it, according to the lore in the show, Shizukai biting Yuki and drinking her blood would ultimately turn her into a vampire. But we don't get to see whether that happens or not because the episode ends. And Kaname gets a little annoyed at Zero for not being there to protect Yuki for her decision. And Zero obviously realizes this and runs off to find her. Anyway, Wyatt's playing at the toy at the moment. He's fine. Anyway, I don't really have any theories because it's almost the end of the show, and I essentially have an idea of what's going to be the finale, essentially, as I'm taking down Shizukai. But why would they let her live? That wouldn't make any sense, especially with Zero. Anyway, the links are in their usual places, and I will see you all next time with episodes 12 and 13.